All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Free to subscribe wherever you get your podcast and follow me on Instagram at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Now, my next guest is putting himself out there. He's working hard. He's a Massachusetts native, much like myself, and you can catch him on the upcoming season of The Voice. Without further ado, please welcome Zach Newbould to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. So you're from Northborough, Mass. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's Northborough.
Familiar a little bit? Tell me a little bit about how life was out there.
I definitely want to move somewhere warmer for starters, but besides that, it's pretty awesome. I live in a nice town. A lot of great people around. School life was pretty good. There's obviously a ton of kids around here to hang out with because the school systems are just like so big. There's like 350 kids to a class, so you had more than enough to do around here. So
Yeah. What were some of your hobbies growing up?
My main hobby is just music, to be honest with
Really?
you. I started when I was really young and I just stuck with it. I did baseball for a bit, lacrosse for a little while, but they just never stuck. I never really liked it the same.
Yep.
The longest one was track. I convinced myself I liked running for a little while until it started to hurt my knees, and I'm like, I don't like this. What am I doing?
Right.
Yeah, that was probably the one that stuck the longest, but I don't know. Music has just always been here, and I love it. And one more. I got very into weightlifting for
Oh, really?
kind of am. I'm just addicted to that. So weightlifting and music, that's about it.
There you go. I like it. Hitting the gym. I like that too. That's a different type of workout. So I agree with you on that rather than just playing sports. And the only running I really like to do is to the fridge, if you know what I mean. Like, when I'm really hungry or the snack pantry. Other than that, you're right. It is hard. It's a different animal. Like I'm not big on like running around and like it's just not fun. I think about it, I'm like my chest is closing up, my knees hurt, my ankles hurt. What is fun about this? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. At least with like lifting weights, you get the pain, but it's like you're still like growing. So it looks
Yeah.
like getting bigger. And then with running, I don't know, it just got me like really skinny personally. This is
Yep.
just my personal opinion on it. And I'm just like, I just didn't love the way I looked with running. So, and after all the pain, I'm like, this is just not worth it.
Yeah, because a lot more cardio, so you're burning a lot more muscle and things like that. So I get it, buddy. Yeah, man, I'm the same way. I don't like what it does to my body type either. So I really try to like, if I'm gonna do cardio, it's light cardio, moderate. Like I'm not gonna go intense because I'm the same way, man. It gets me super skinny, and I'm just not about that. Like I like to have a little bit more meat on the bones, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I got you. So singing was primarily your bread and butter. You've always liked to do that. You even sang as a little kid. When did it become big for you of, wow, this is something I truly love to do? Were you in shows growing up, anything like that?
Yeah. So, all through elementary school, just growing up, I used to just like sing in the shower, sing around the house, that kind of stuff. Um, all the usual stuff, how people kind of start.
Yeah.
And then in 5th grade, there was a chorus solo. And I was like, I'm not really sure if I can sing, but my teacher offered the part. And I'm like, maybe I should just try it. So I came home to my parents and they said, I said, should I do this solo? And they said, if you do, just be prepared to get the part. They go, because you're good. You're going to get it. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm not good enough for that.
Yeah.
Um, and then I ended up doing it the next day. And that same day I got the part. And then I performed for all the parents, all the kids and stuff at school, on the song Happy by Pharrell Williams.
Yeah, that's a great song.
And then from then on, I just like fell in love with it. Once everybody clapped and like made me feel good about it, I'm like, man, I can make people happy with this. This is like an awesome thing. And then the positive feedback from the crowd, I was just like, okay, I got it. There's got to be something here. There's no way they're just like applauding like that for no reason.
Yep.
And then I ended up doing a bunch of recitals and stuff later on. I kept getting positive feedback. People loved me. And I was like, okay, I think I definitely got to be okay. And then back when I was 15, I actually auditioned for The Voice for the first time. I made it pretty far. I went to California for one of the auditions and whatever, and I ended up getting cut just before I got flown out to the actual audition, and that really made me feel like I wasn't good enough for a little while. I was like, oh, geez, like it kind of just put me in a bad place as far as music, and I didn't want to do it as much anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of like got back to it, and I started posting on TikTok. I got a decent following on there. That got me back into it a little bit more. And then finally, The Voice reached back out to me and said, "Hey, let's give this another try." So I went back on the show, and that really like validated me to kind of keep going more than anything so far, just because I had these four like amazing, famous singers in front of me, giving me that kind of validation, the crowd giving me the validation, and then on top of that, obviously getting the two chair turns.
Yeah, most definitely. And we'll get into that. So I didn't know that you auditioned for the first time at 15. So what, freshman, sophomore year of high school, you try to get on, didn't go your way, but you bounced back because 4 years later you did it, dude. Right? I mean, so yeah, I mean that's what you like to hear. You like to hear those perseverance stories. But we'll definitely transition into it on your little promo cutting in before you sang. It's you said that you have always watched The Voice, you've always been into it, and it was your dream to sing on The Voice. Clearly, it was. You auditioned at 15 and again so later on. So, what was it like to truly live out that dream, my friend? Because you did it, dude.
It was weird, to be honest with you, a good kind of weird. But
Yeah.
when I walked on that stage, I was like, okay, this isn't really happening. I got up on there. I wasn't even nervous. I was just standing right in the middle of the stage. It was quiet. Everyone was looking at me. I'm like, why am I not nervous at all? It didn't really set in for me yet that like, holy shit, I'm on the voice of the stage right now. And until those two chairs turned, and I was like, oh, this is really happening right now.
Yeah.
Like Gwen and Camila's faces, I'm like, oh, this feels fake. And I like couldn't, to me, it felt like I couldn't sing for a second. Like I
Really?
was like out of breath and just like, it was like nerves, excitement. Like now this just got real. Um, and I just had to kind of push through. And then when I watched myself back on TV, I was like, okay, I actually like held up pretty well, I think. But like it might not have translated through the TV, but I was like nervous up there once those chairs turned around. So overall, just an unreal experience.
Yeah, I don't think it translated too much because when I watch you, you look pretty calm, cool, and collected. I thought you handled yourself pretty well. I probably would be nervous. I probably, but you handled yourself pretty well. But you also know yourself better than anyone else, so you probably were able to watch it, go back, and be like, yeah, I can see how I was a little nervous there. Like you can you can kind of see yourself, and you're your own biggest critic at those type of moments too. So. But man, dude, yeah, no, because you said that you used to watch it with your dad too, and your dad wanted Blake to turn so he can have a beer with Blake, right?
Yeah.
That's what he wanted. Yeah.
Sadly, it didn't go that way, but
No, but it went the way it was supposed to, dude. I mean, yeah, and you can't change it. So you
I'm
had
happy regardless. They were all great picks, so I can't say no to any of them. I can tell you
right,
that.
like you're not gonna go wrong either way to help further your music career. You know what I mean? Like you have four titans in the industry.
I made it there, and I was like, it's just the fact that I could do that. I was like, oh, this is unreal.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
I'm completely grateful for that.
That's
You know.
awesome, man. But you had your blind audition and you sang "Use Somebody," right, by Kings of Leon. Why did
Yeah.
you choose that song?
Um, it was just, it's just a very good song to like. I could strip it down almost. How I came in with it slow at the beginning, then it sped up a little bit, then it got to that almost rock feel at the end. It let me. It just gave me a lot of room to work with.
Yeah,
Because as you got that like sentimental feeling too in the beginning, the rock at the end, which most songs can't capture that. Um, and when I reworked it, I was like, oh, this could be like a really cool rendition of this song.
yeah,
And no other song gave me the room to do that. Um, yeah, all around it just really gives you that room to show emotion. And I just wanted to throw as much emotion into the crowd as possible. to try and like reciprocate like how I was feeling, like let the crowd feel it. Because that's always how I've had the most success in singing.
Yep.
I like to just try and let emotion shine through. And apparently it worked because I got the turns with it. So that was just my main goal. And I felt like that song really gave me the room to do that.
Yeah, there are a lot of runs in that song, and you said it best. How you can go slow at the beginning and sentimental, but then you're rocky, but then you're like more of rock, rock. But the words are still that sentimental vibe, even though it is a little bit of the pace is picking up and things like that. So yeah, that was definitely a good choice for you because I've done a few of these with some people, and I know that there's a list of songs that you can choose, and and you only get like a minute and a half, but that's a good song because you could start and it does pick up rather fast, so you can kind of show those runs, that range that you have. And I know you're still kind of struggling trying to find your identity with music as well because you see yourself that you can do multiple genres. Is that correct?
Yeah. I like to just pull from everything, little bits and pieces, and kind of try and build my own with that is the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Inspiration from all avenues, which is the best way to go, I think. I mean, if you're not inspired by a bunch of different things to help your craft, you're only hurting yourself. So, but you mentioned it. Camila and Gwen turned for you. You literally had Gwen Stefani screaming "I love you" several times. That must have been a pretty cool moment.
It was awesome, except for one problem. When I was singing and the crowd was cheering and all that stuff, I didn't hear her say that.
Really? Oh,
So watching it back, I'm like, I wonder if that would have like swayed my pick.
yeah, yeah.
Because originally I was gonna pick Gwen, and then going into it, Camila was just so convincing, and that's what made me go towards her. Obviously, I was not opposed to either of them; they're both awesome. Um, but yeah, I don't know if it would have swayed it if I heard that. I was listening back then, I was like, I had no idea she was yelling that because it was just so loud and in the moment, and I was just so focused on getting that song out and making it as good as I could on stage.
Right, right. It is kind of a challenging thing. I've never been in anything like it, obviously, but I can only imagine that it's a challenging atmosphere because you have to compete. You're doing the song at the same time. They're turning for you, and that subconsciously you're like, oh my goodness, like they just turned for me, and then you almost want to stop, like you said, but then you're like, wait a minute, no, I got to finish. You have you have the crowd chanting for you. You have your parents in the back room, so it sounds like there's a lot of stimulus and things. A very stimulus environment. So,
Sure.
but funniest moments I find in the whole blind audition this season was when, in my opinion, was when Camila turned to Blake and said, "You didn't turn? Are you drunk?" And he goes, "Yes, actually, yes, I am. Yes, I am."
Yeah. Blake was awesome. I loved like just messing around with him on the stage just because we were kind of like a little bit back and forth the whole time, just kind of like picking on Camila a little bit.
Yeah.
And turn around and pick her after all that. So it's like, I don't know, just all around a funny situation.
Yeah, because you even kind of were jabbing and did the callback at the fact that she was on a singing show herself.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
like kind of played into it. We were just kind of like lightly making fun of little things she said. Just
yeah,
it's always how I've been. I like to just like joke around a little bit, lighten up the mood. And
yeah.
Blake just made it very easy. He just like throws stuff at you, and he just tries to like he has this way of getting your humor to come out.
He does. He's genuine. He's real. He's funny, and he kind of reminds me of that uncle that everyone has. That's just like says those one-liners that are like
Yeah,
really hilarious. Yeah,
yeah.
and you just go with it. You go with it. Yeah, but that leads me to my next segment here. Okay, I want to do something different and a little fun for you. All right, so I'm gonna read you some famous quotes. Okay, and I want you to tell me who said it. All right, so I'll start with something easy. Okay. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
All right, good. I actually know this one. Forrest
Okay.
Gump.
Okay, there we go. There you go. You got that one right. All right, here we go. Here's the next one for you. You should get this one, okay, my friend? I want to be your momager.
Ah, I wonder who that could be. Ah, it might have been John. No, no, Gwen.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was funny.
That was
That
a
was
good one. Yeah. And even Blake, he was like momager, like it was, and then he kind of made a face. He was like, "Oh, all right, that's a new word I've never heard." But I understood what she meant. She meant because she's older, she's been doing it for so long that she can guide you. But it was
Yeah.
just the way that it said it. So I've got two more for you, okay, my friend. Uh, that's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. Do you know who said
Why
that?
am I actually forgetting the name? Armstrong.
Yeah, yep. Okay, Neil Armstrong.
I
Perfect.
sound like an idiot here for a second.
Nope. You got it. You got it. All right. So right now you're 3 for 3. All right. Here we go. Perfect 100. All right. Let's see if you can get it. Your vulnerabilities were my vulnerabilities, and they're not my vulnerabilities now.
Oh man, gonna have to go with Camila for that one.
There we go.
That was another funny moment. Blake kind of spun that on her too.
Yeah.
And I was well said, and Blake's like, "Yeah, it was well said," or something like that. That was funny.
I like when things like that happen because it shows the authenticity of the judges because they're also human too. They're trying to get you on their team. So they're going to mess up, they're going to flub up, or they're going to say silly things, or they're going to say things that make sense to them but doesn't really make sense at the time, but we all understand what they're saying. Because I understood it, but it was one of those things where and you even said it, you joked at it, you were like, yeah, beautifully said. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just gives you that reminder that they're people too.
yeah,
That's like the main thing I learned in this experience. I was like kind of starstruck at first walking on there,
I'm
as
sure.
most people would be, and then I was like talking to them a little bit, and I'm like, these are just regular people. Obviously, all very talented people, but they really are just like also people. You get so caught up in the fact that they're famous, and you forget the fact that they're literally just a human, just like you. So
Yeah.
that was the big thing I learned in this.
Yeah, no, that's actually really well worded because it's true. Like they're just very talented individuals, but at the end of the day, they are people as well. They are other individuals. So yeah, thank you for playing that game. Perfect score, four
It was
for
a good
four.
game.
I did that specifically for you, Zach, because I was like, I really want to see if you can get it. All right.
You got me nervous. I'm like, I'm gonna sound so stupid if I don't know one of these. I can't mess this up.
No. You got it. You hit the nail on the head, dude. You got it. So your dad said confidently that you were going to pick Gwen. You clearly didn't. Why did you decide to go with Camila?
Uh, I was very confident I was gonna pick Gwen. I decided that from the start. If those were the two that turned, and I don't know, just everything she said was like convincing. And as I said, I missed the whole "I love you" thing that she was saying, this and
Yeah.
that, and all around it just felt like Camila had more interest in me.
Hmm.
And I was like, and she was also more critical. Gwen didn't say as much like as many critical things.
That's because she
Uh,
loves you. No, I'm just kidding.
she like she basically said, "I love you." Like your performance was perfect. Whereas Camila kind of criticized my high note and this and that. And and the heat of the moment, I kind of just felt like, okay, Camila might have more interest, and she seems to really be like, she seems to be criticizing me more, and I feel like there might be something to learn there, especially because the fact that she's a young artist as well, and she's just recently gone through all these things, and she's been on a stage like that before, and she really just understood what it feels like to be on the stage and nervous and have a note not come out correctly because of nerves. And it was like, I don't know, I just felt like she understood more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally. So
Obviously, great picks, but in the moment, I just had this gut feeling I had to go with Camila.
yeah. So did you feel like you could have gotten more coaching with Camila at that particular moment in time? Obviously, like you said, you would have gotten great coaching any way you could have went. But in that particular moment, because of the fact that she kind of, constructive criticism went at you and said you could have improved on this. I noticed this. Did you feel at that moment that that was something that you're like, okay, I feel like I can be coached to my potential with this person because they called me out. Because some people don't like that, you know. Some people would have been
Yeah.
like, oh no, you called me out on national TV. I'm gonna go ahead and go somewhere else. But for you, it sounds like it was more of a coaching moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of. I thought they both coached the same. Like I thought they'd both be just as good
Yep.
to another, but I feel like she would like I felt like Camila would be more likely to hone in on certain things just because she might understand it more because she's been in basically my direct shoes with how her career started.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. You know, you related to the. She's been on on a competition show as well, so
That's singing competition.
exactly. I love how you also with your humor. I think you did a good job at showing who you were as a person too, because you were like, oh no, I've never heard of that, even though she had mentioned it a couple times. So I thought you did a very good job at showing your sense of humor as well. So in those brief moments afterwards. So a couple more questions. If you could, obviously you've seen it now. You've seen it on live TV. You lived it. If there were some moments that you could have potentially done differently, is there anything that you would have done? Maybe not. Maybe not change your decision, but maybe even just to prepare yourself for that moment or anything like that.
Um, I felt pretty prepared. I was overall like very happy with it. The only thing I wish I did was try to, I don't know if I was able to. I calmed myself down the most I could, but I wish I could have been more calm so I could have been more present in the moment and kind of taken it all in. Um, because I feel like I missed out on a lot
Yeah.
because I was all over the place, just being like, all right, sing, try to get these turns, and then get off the stage because I'm like so nervous. That was like my thought process almost. And I just wish I was more present, enjoyed it, just so I could like really vividly remember that moment. But I like borderline blacked out because I was like just so nervous, excited, all these different emotions, and like my body couldn't take it or something.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense, dude. Like I said, I've never been in a moment like that. So, but I just wanted to ask you that because experience is the greatest teacher. So I wasn't sure. Now that you've had that experience under your belt, if there was anything you would have done differently. But another, which is kind of a segue into my next point, or my next question rather. What advice would you give to someone who's in your shoes?
Well, for starters, I'd say that the greatest country singer in the world was rejected from The Voice. Well, my opinion, greatest country singer, Luke Combs. I love Luke Combs. He was rejected. He's one of the biggest country artists right now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was rejected by the voice.
Yeah, so for starters, I tell him that.
Hmm.
And then it's there's so many things that go into it, timing it right, having a like good interviews, this and this and this. And to the point where one mistake can kind of throw the whole process off.
Yeah.
And there's so many people to get in. And it's like hundreds of thousands of people auditioning.
Hmm.
It has to be down to like 100 before the blinds begin. And there are probably so many talented singers that are thrown away every single season just because you can't pull them all in. There's probably 50,000 people that are good enough, but you need to get it down to 100. So at that point, I feel like it kind of just gets down to luck and you just got to kind of lock into it. So I would say keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and eventually you will make it because I would assume that they remember your name or it's somewhere in their computers or whatever, and they will see that you're auditioning over and over and over again, and it'll show them that you're a hard worker and that you really want this. So there's you're somebody that they would want to have on the show. Um, and you just can't get down about it because it's a hard process, but you learn a lot through it. And if you don't make it, it really doesn't mean anything because it's like I said, you just got to kind of lock into it from that point on. But there's so many great singers that try out for it.
That's great advice, dude. Because I personally did not know that Luke Combs got rejected. I knew that Morgan Wallen made the show, but then he didn't win, and he's a very talented country artist as well. So I didn't know, but I didn't know that story. So you learn something new every day because that was something I didn't know. And you're right, he is he's up there with one of the top country artists of all times.
I think there was another one, Blake's advisor this season. He said on an Instagram like short thing recently, Blake said, "Have you ever auditioned for a show or anything like this?" And he goes, "Yeah, I did. I auditioned for The Voice like several times or something." He goes, "They rejected me." And he's a famous singer, like on the show now.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show somebody that's so great can be rejected.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I like the advice, just keep trying. I mean, you did it. That's great advice from a man who was literally in that predicament. He got rejected as a 15-year-old boy. He could have taken his ball and went home, but here he is now, still living his dream. Where can people find you so they can follow you, stay up to date, see all the things that Zach is doing?
So Instagram is Zachary Newbould. That's Zachary with an H, and then Newbould is Newbould. TikTok, same thing, but just Zach Newbould. YouTube is also Zach Newbould. They're all pretty much the same, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Yep.
I wish Instagram could have been Zach Newbould, but there's another damn Zach Newbould, so it made it.
Damn it.
I tried to put up a fight with Instagram for a while. I'm like, you got to give me this name. And they're like, no response. So I'm never getting Zach Newbould unless that other account gets deleted.
Yeah. I always wondered that. I do know what you mean because I've always wanted just the Instagram handle of just Nathanael Reyes. And there's another dude who has it, and his real name is Angel. And I'm like, what? Come on now. Like, why can't I just have that instead? Instead, I put I'm Nathanael Reyes to kind of like, differentiate it. But I know I look back on them like, come on, Instagram. Like, come on. Like, so I'm right there with you. Maybe lightning will strike for us, and we'll get those names at some point. But for now, Zachary Newbould, I'm Nathanael Reyes, and we'll still roll with what we've got. I mean, that's the best we can do, right?
We'll see. I mean, maybe if I get famous, they'll prioritize me more and just kind of.
I was gonna say, if you get that blue check mark, they may go ahead and be like, you know what, we've got to do that because I think that's happened to some people. I do. I think that's so. Maybe they'll prioritize you. I don't even know how that would work. How they would like take a person's name away. I don't know, but I hope it does for you, my friend. I really do. I'm pulling.
Or maybe they can do the same name with the blue check.
Oh yeah, see, there we go.
The other person that's like the official.
Yeah.
One.
See, look at that. We're helping Instagram. We're helping you out. All right. We've got some great intel for you. But all right, Zach. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, no problem, dude. So do not forget to follow me on Instagram. I'm Nathanael Reyes again because somebody else took Nathanael Reyes. Click the subscribe button. You can find the show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and Google. And as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm the male Oprah, and I love you all.